Hi there and welcome to our video on cell biology. In this video we're going to be going through some exam questions. Our first exam question states, figure 1 shows a human cheek cell viewed under a light microscope. Label the nucleus and cell membrane on figure 1. So we are asked to label the nucleus and the cell membrane. So the nucleus is this one over here in the middle. That's going to be the nucleus. And then because this is an animal cell, it's a cheek cell, that means it's not going to have a cell wall. The cell membrane is going to be this outer layer. Okay, that's your cell membrane, and labeling those two correctly will get you your 2 marks. Next question, cheek cells are a type of body cell. Body cells grow through cell division. What is the name of this type of cell division? Remember, cheek cells are animal cells, so they are going to go through mitosis as their cell division, and that will get you 1 mark. Next question, ribosomes and mitochondria are not shown in figure 1. So in this figure we are not shown any ribosomes or mitochondria. What type of microscope is needed to see ribosomes and mitochondria? Well, there are 2 types of microscopes. We have the light microscope and the electron microscope. Ribosomes and mitochondria are smaller figures in the cell, and we would need extra magnification to see them more clearly, and that extra magnification the electron microscope gives us. So the answer to this is going to be the electron microscope. Okay, and that will get you 1 mark. Now the next question asks us, what is the advantage of using the type of microscope you named in part C? So we've just named the electron microscope. What's an advantage of using the electron microscope? Well, the reason why we're using it is so that it gives us a higher magnification. Cheaper is not an advantage. Sorry, it is an advantage, but it's not cheaper because there's a lot of machinery involved in it, and lower resolution is a false claim. It's not an advantage. It gives us a higher resolution along with a higher magnification, worth 1 mark. Okay, now next question, figure 1 shows photographs of some animal cells at different stages during the cell cycle. So we have figure 1 over here, A, B and C. Now we're going to study A, B and C through the question we are shown now. Which photograph in figure 1 shows a cell that is not going through mitosis? So to answer this question you need to know the key stages of mitosis. In which cell is absolutely nothing happening? In cell A you can see that those 2 cells are splitting apart. In cell B you can see that the chromosomes are lining up in the middle of the cell, and the cell looks as though it's ready for mitosis, cell division, to occur. And in cell C you can't pick out what's happening in cell C. You can just see a normal body cell in cell C. So which figure shows the picture not going through mitosis? It's cell C, because you can pick out that the other 2 are going through mitosis and cell C isn't. Okay, and that will get you 1 mark. Now the next question tells us, describe what is happening in photograph A. So let's go up to photograph A. Now we are forming 2 new cells from 1 cell, and one of the main stages of mitosis is that the cytoplasm and the cell membranes divide to form 2 identical daughter cells, and that's what you need to say in this question. So the cytoplasm and cell membrane divide to form 2 identical daughter cells. Okay, so that's what you need to say for 2 marks in that question. Now, the next question is over here. A student wanted to find out more about the cell cycle. The student made a slide of an onion root tip. She counted the number of cells in each stage of the cell cycle in one field of view. The table below shows the results. There we can see her results. Each stage of the cell cycle takes a different amount of time. Which stage is the fastest in the cell cycle? Give a reason for your answer. So we are given the number of cells in this row, and as columns go down we are given stage 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. Now stage 4 has the lowest number of cells, and so stage 4 is the quickest. Okay, and your reason would be that the number of cells is the lowest during stage 4. So stage 4, the number of cells is the lowest. Okay, and that will get you 2 marks, one for that and one for that. Okay, next question, we have a 6-mark question. Explain how the circulatory system is adapted to supplying oxygen to the tissues, remove waste products from the tissues, and it's a 6-mark question. So we know what the circulatory system is, and the most obvious point that we could possibly give here is that humans have a double circulatory systems. So humans have a double circulatory system. Okay, that's the most obvious point we can give, and this is because the blood passes through the heart twice. Okay, you could also say that the heart is made out of specialized cardiac muscles. You could talk about the process of how the heart functions. So you could put in your answer, the blood enters through the vena cava, gets pumped from the right atrium to the right ventricle through a valve, and then it jets out through the pulmonary artery, and it goes to collect some oxygen from the lungs. Then it returns via the pulmonary vein. It enters the left atrium this time. It is pumped into the left ventricle via a valve, and then it jets out through the aorta in order to deliver that oxygen to the rest of the body. Okay, so you could describe the process there. That would give you a couple of marks. How do they supply oxygen to the tissues? Now, when we're talking about that, we need to be talking about red blood cells. Okay, so red blood cells is something we need to be talking about. Now, red blood cells, they carry the oxygen to the organs of the body, and they are specialized. They don't have a nucleus. You could also say that in your answer. They don't have a nucleus, which means that there's more room for the oxygen. So they carry the blood to the organs of the body. Now, talking on our second point, how is the circulatory system adapted to remove waste products from tissues? And we have the blood plasma for this. So the waste products removed, such as carbon dioxide, diffuse from the cell into the blood plasma. Remember, the blood plasma is the liquid part of the blood. Okay, and it will carry that carbon dioxide out, and it will excrete it through the body. Okay, so just talking about those, that will give you 6 markers. I'm not going to write the answer on the screen now because I've talked through it. Okay, now our next question over here, the image below shows an epithelial cell from the lining of the small intestine. In the image above, the part of the cell labeled A contains chromosomes. What is the name part A? So part A is over here and it contains chromosomes. Now chromosomes are in body cells, and they are specifically in an organelle, and that is called the nucleus. The nucleus contains those chromosomes, which contain the genes for your characteristics. Okay, that's worth another mark. Now, next question. How are most soluble foods absorbed into the epithelial cells of the small intestine? Draw a ring around the correct answer. Now, how are the soluble food molecules absorbed? Osmosis is the diffusion of water, and it's not respiration, so we know it's going to be diffusion. Okay, 1 mark. Suggest how the highly folded cell surface helps the epithelial cells to absorb soluble food. Well, because they have a folded cell surface, they're going to have a higher surface area, so a larger surface area. Okay, worth 1 mark. Epithelial cells also carry out active transport. Name one food molecule absorbed into epithelial cells by active transport. And remember, epithelial cells are part of the body, so one food molecule, you could say glucose. Okay, that will get you 1 mark. Why is it necessary to absorb some food molecules by active transport? Is because you are moving from an area of lower concentration to an area of higher concentration, and you will need to move against the concentration gradient. So you will need to move against the concentration gradient. Okay, worth 1 mark. You could have also said you need to go from an area of lower concentration to an area of higher concentration, and you can't do that through diffusion and osmosis, which are other transport techniques the body uses. Next question over here suggests why epithelial cells have many mitochondria. And this is because mitochondria are used as an energy source, and epithelial cells have lots of mitochondria to release energy for respiration to occur. Or during respiration. Okay, worth 2 marks. Next question we have over here, our final question. Some plants also carry out active transport. Give one substance that plants absorbed by active transport. Now, before we were talking about how human cells, what they absorb from active transport. Now we're talking about plant cells. What do plant cells absorb from active transport? Well, they absorb mineral ions from the soil. So you could have minerals or you could have ions from the soil, and that's worth another mark. And that is it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it, and one last thing, please subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell.